have another bike on the bench, and no, it isn't my poor old Comet. This is my friend Vince's bike. So it's Vincent, a 1950 Vincent Comet 500 single. As you can see, it's a pretty original, nice looking bike. I'm not going to touch it cosmetically, but Vince has asked if I can get it running again. It hasn't run for a number of years. I haven't touched it at all yet, and so my job is to basically do all the little jobs to get it running again. I'll empty the gas tank, probably take the carburetor off, clean that all off. I'll drop the oil first of all, and then I'll prime it with oil, check the spark, compression, all that sort of stuff, and then we'll try and get this bike started again and hand it back to Vincent so that he can enjoy it. And I'm just going to start by removing the old gas, the old petrol from the gas tank. Gosh, that's blocked. The gas smells like varnish. No, I guess this petcock is blocked, and still quite a bit of fuel in there. Here it's sloshing around. So what I'll do is I'll remove the gas tank, turn it upside down, remove these petcocks and just clean them out. I'll probably stick them in the ultrasonic cleaner just to make sure they're nice and clean. Let's just start by removing the seat first of all. I'm not sure, but these rear units look original. This hopefully is not paint. It looks like it could be CAD plated, but possibly paint, I'm not sure. And also the rubber mount is missing here from the tank, and I see it's down here. It's fallen down here at some point. There it is. That should be on there. And I'm just removing the bolt and the spacer underneath. This spacer prevents the gas tank from cracking. And then removing these front two bolts here that go into the headstock that secure the gas tank at the front. I must say, I think I've mentioned this before, this is my least favourite job, taking the gas tank off. Not so much taking it off, but certainly refitting it. I always get a little nervous putting these back in because they're rubber mounted and I worry about stripping the threads. Oh, that was actually loose. Oh boy. I don't even know if that was mounted. We will see. Oh, that's one of the short ones. I don't even know if that was mounted. This looks to be some new stainless hardware at some point. Yeah, that one was secure, but the other one wasn't. See if this is the long one or the short one. Yeah, it's slightly longer. Gonna remove the petcocks next. One of them's blocked. I think it's this one here. So I'll take these apart. Oh, they are actually different. And I'll put them in the ultrasonic cleaner. nasty. Looks like they've been off at some point as well in the past because they've got these doughty washers on. Yeah, they'll need to be replaced. No filter on this one. Unless it's fallen off, I'll shake it, but I don't think I heard anything when I was getting the old gas out. And they're in a bit of a state, I must say. Thankfully, the threads are very good. Yeah, they're great. I will recommend probably getting the gas tank cleaned at some point on the inside. Looks like it may have been coated actually at some point. There's some traces there of this red cream or glyptol or whatever it might be. It's relatively clean but still quite a lot of rust. Oh my gosh, yeah. There's the cause. Yeah, completely bunged up. It looks like these petcocks may have been assembled from parts. Well, at least one of them anyway. So I'm going to stick them in the ultrasonic cleaner. I've just cleaned up all the petcocks, got rid of all this plumber's tape to start with, and I don't think that filter is going to be very effective, so I'm just going to lop that off for now and remove that. And what I might do is try and find one of my own filters or another petcock that I can put on temporarily. Otherwise, as soon as these go back on, if there's any sediment, it's going to go straight into the new clean carbs when I finish those. So I'll pop these in the cleaner for now and get them all nice and clean and get rid of some of this sediment and build up in these holes. Well, I'm sure you've seen me use this before. This is my ultrasonic cleaner. I use sort of like an 80-20 mix with this heavy duty simple green, the purple colour solution. I've preheated it. I just basically put hot water in from the kettle, and so the machine doesn't have to work that hard. And I pop all the parts in, and I usually leave them in for about 10 or 20 minutes, and then I'll stir the pot, so to speak, and check, see how they're doing. Okay, so that's been about 20 minutes. And the water's very hot. Put the petrol cap in as well. That's cork from those washers. Next, I'll remove the carburetor. It's just a very simple job actually. You just undo this bolt here, but I'll take the cap off first and remove the throttle valve and see what it's like in there. It's actually stuck up at the handlebars. It won't actually raise, so I suspect it's all bunged up in here, certainly judging by the petrol taps as well. So we'll take this off, dismantle it and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and clean it all up. I did notice it's got the top feed as well rather than the bottom feed, which I think it should have for the Comet, and also the float ball needs to be on this side, but it looks like someone's taken care of that with these fuel lines, so I'll probably just put it right back the way it is at the moment, and that's something for another day. That is stuck in there. Yeah, I won't force that. I'll take the whole thing onto the bench. I really like these brass manifolds. I think they look really cool. I've got one on my Comet. It's as simple as that. I'm going to take the whole throttle assembly off and so that I can inspect it on the bench. Take it all apart, take the cables apart, see what it looks like on the inside, and grease inside here. That was really stuck. Whoa, glad I caught that. It looked like it'd been glued. I think I have a nice new bolt to replace this old thing here. Looks like a woodworking screw. Here's the carburetor on the bench. It is looking a little sorry for itself. It's a little tired and worn, but it should come up quite nicely in the ultrasonic cleaner. That'll give it a better chance at least of getting the bike running. But as you can see, pretty tarnished. The throttle valve actually came out as I was lifting the carburetor away from the bike, but you can see it's a little worn. But we'll clean all this up just to see what it looks like, at least when it's clean, and if it's sliding up and down and not flopping around and letting air leaks into the bike. So I'll take this all apart. Same here, this is all sticky and just needs a good tidy up and a good clean, that's all. And then here, brackets. I think someone's hit it with some black paint. I noticed that some of the fasteners on the bike as well have been painted black, no doubt just to protect them from rusting at some point in the past. So we'll see what that looks like. I think I can read Amel on there. And then the choke lever, I don't think that's standard. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but we'll see how that comes up. This main jet block, I'll put this in the ultrasonic cleaner first to see if we can loosen this up. I'm not going to try and force it. It looks like it's fast in there. Same here with this bell mouth as well. I couldn't get that off by hand, so possibly that will loosen up once it's got warm. This throttle grip is very tight on the handlebar. I've cleaned this up a little bit. It was a little pitted, so I've just cleaned that up, but it's still pretty tight. As you can see, and I put it in the other way as well and just drove it onto there, but you can see it's pretty tight. I think possibly it's got a little misshaped at some point, but when it gets to about there it starts getting tight. So what I'll do is I'm just going to hone this throttle See if I can open this up a little bit so it'll go on here smoother. That's very tight. Here's the carburetor back on the bench. It looks great now, doesn't it? It was pretty dirty, and so I did 4 separate sessions of about 10 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner. What I typically do is put them in, run it for 10 minutes, and then stir it up, ideally with a wooden handle or a plastic handle tool, just to kind of stir things around a little bit. Then do another 10 minutes. And then empty the solution out and then replace with fresh solution, and I repeated that again for another 20 minutes overall. And then I took all the parts out. I cleaned the brass with some 4-0 wire wool. It's a little softer, not as aggressive or abrasive on those parts. Very careful. And then I cleaned out the mixing chamber as well. Also just had some very fine 4-0 wire wool in there. Really careful how I did that, don't want to scratch it at all, and it looks a lot better in there. And then once I'd done that, obviously blew it all out, all the parts that have air holes, I blew them all out with compressed air. And then I think finally what I did was I polished this throttle valve as well, just on the bench, with some, I think it was aluminium polish, and that came up really nice. So that should go back hopefully into the body nice and smoothly. I'll check that in a minute. So I think that's about it. The springs have seen better days. I'll probably replace these springs. Same with the gaskets as well. I have some sets, and then, you know, again, the spring looks a little worn out, so I'll probably replace that. All the obvious things, and then put it all back together again, and that will be the next shot. Great, that's the carburetor refitted on the bench. Everything's pretty loose at the moment, and I'll tighten everything up once everything's dry fitted on the bike. These cables are not great. I'm going to recommend new cables at some point, but the objective of this project is just to get the bike running for now. So this will be a recommendation going forward. For example, these adjusters, there's no threads in this cap. They actually don't belong here, but I'm leaving it as it was, and then we can always fine tune it later.